Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. In this one, I'm going to be walking you through the process that we went through to build a 7-figure dropshipping business with just a £250 starting budget. So if you're looking at starting a dropshipping business and you don't have that much money and you're looking to try and do it the cheapest way possible, that's exactly how I started. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what I did with my business when I first got going, before I built a team, before I grew it to what it is today. But I'm going to walk you through those initial kind of stages and how we ended up growing it to the level that it's at right now. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it and we can get into the content. So like I said, this video really is just to walk you through how we built a 7-figure dropshipping business with just £250 to start with. That's all I had at the time. I was in a full-time job working the 9 to 5 and wanted to start a dropshipping business, around that full-time job. But before I even got into dropshipping, the first thing I had to really understand was what type of business model I wanted to get involved in. Because there are a lot out there. Obviously you've probably heard of many of them yourself. Like Amazon FBA is one option that I looked into, even tried to attempt it before dropshipping, didn't work. There's things like social media marketing agencies where you can create your own agency and help people on social media, but didn't really have the skills to do that at the time. Obviously dropshipping was another option I had, and also eBay reselling, just selling stuff on eBay, kind of like retail arbitrage sort of thing. So I had a look at the different options. Dropshipping for me was really the one that I ended up choosing to go with, and there was a few reasons for that. One of them was that it had the lowest barrier of entry to any business model I've ever seen, even all those that I had on the previous slide kind of thing, anything else I've seen since. This was really one of the easiest and cheapest models for me to get involved in at the time. And the reason for that was because I didn't need to buy any stock up front. I needed zero technical skills to get started. If I could use a mouse and keyboard kind of thing, it seemed pretty simple for me to do. It can be fully automated, which from kind of where I was back in the day, I was very lazy. I wanted to do things as cheap and as quick and as easy as I possibly could. So the fact that I could automate everything and do very minimal work was a huge plus. And also the fact that it had huge growth potential for the future sort of thing. So the fact that I could start this with not a lot of investment, I could do it and set it up to be automated so I didn't have to put as much time in, and it had the potential to be huge when I could grow it, then that just seemed like a massive win for me in terms of this is the business model that I wanted to get involved in. Like I said, I was working a 9 to 5. It wasn't a great paying job sort of thing. So I had a low budget, and I basically saved up £250 to get started with this business. So getting started on a low budget, a lot of people are in that position. I totally get it. So this is kind of what I did to sort of structure out the business. So I focused first on finding a product that the market wanted and that I could easily target. This was really important to me, especially with being new to Facebook ads at the time, is I needed to be able to have a product that it was very obvious who to target with interests and things like that. But I couldn't just find any random products and hope people are going to buy it. I had to try and find something that the market wanted and then try and sell it to them. So at the time, like iPhone cases were kind of all the craze. People were trying to buy them and things like that. So iPhone cases with cats on them was pretty much the first thing I tried to sell. And I did sell a few of them, which was quite nice. So that was really very easy to target. It was a case of targeting iPhone devices, people who, obviously have iPhones or the mobile devices, people who like mobile phone accessories, and then narrowing it down with cats. Ultimately, I did it the other way as well. So cats, and then I narrowed down my mobile phone accessories. So that was kind of how I launched the first campaigns, and it ended up working well pretty quickly after that. But other than obviously finding the products, I had to control the spend of the business itself, the running costs, the platform costs, the themes, everything basically. So I tried to do it as cheap as I possibly could. I had free Shopify themes. I used the free trials as much as I could. I used free apps over paid apps, even if they had free trials, just to give me the functionality, even though they weren't great. I literally tried to do everything myself, did all the design, everything. I just did it all myself, basically. I tried to scrimp and save as much as I could, so all of my money was basically going into advertising and nothing else. Obviously, I had the Shopify platform fee that I had to pay for, but I couldn't really avoid that. But it was very much a case of I tried to do everything as cheap as I possibly could. And any profits I did make, I just reinvested them back into the business. I wanted to grow the business. I didn't really take anything out, and I kept working the full-time job. For me, the initial stage wasn't necessarily to get rich. It was to build the foundation to a long-term business. That was what I was hoping for. I had to learn the process and make money at the same time, sort of thing. So anything I did make went straight back into the business to grow it even further. So I gradually increased ad spend over time. I managed cash flow, carefully. I'd never scaled further than cash flow would allow. So in terms of cash flow, I'm talking being able to pay for customers' orders when they pay me. There's always obviously a few days worth of lag when it comes to getting your sort of deposits from Shopify, Stripe, PayPal, whatever it is. So managing that cash flow was really important, and making sure that I only scaled at a profitable level. That was something I was doing. So I didn't try and rush it. I tried to be really careful with the cash flow, the scaling, took it slow and steady. I wasn't trying to get rich quick with it. I was trying to learn the process and understand it so I could grow it long term into the future, which is ultimately what we ended up doing. But when you're on a low budget, you have to kind of take these steps and manage the money, manage the cash flow, but you also have to believe you can do it. Ultimately, it will be a longer journey than if you have a large budget to start with, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. You just got to take it carefully, manage everything bit by bit until you really understand the process and you start seeing that profit. So like I said, I tried to do everything as free and as cheap as I possibly could. Most of the time it was free. I tried to do that the best I could, and really all of the money that the business was making, all of my budget was really going into ad spend. And this is really where the true cost of running a dropshipping business is. If you're using paid ads, that's mostly where most of the spend for your business will go with this type of online sort of business model. So I started at £5 a day with my campaigns. I had one campaign, one ad set, and one ad. That's literally all I had. I couldn't sort of test any ad creatives. I couldn't A/B test things. I couldn't do much. All I could do was run an ad for a product and see how it went. And that was as it went. Because the reason I was doing £5 a day was because I had £250 as my budget. And I figured out that if I did £5 a day, it'd give me 50 days to make profit, basically, which was almost 2 months kind of thing. So I had almost 2 months to make a profit at that kind of level. So I let it run, and like I said, I just reinvested the profits back in. I never really took anything out for quite a while, to be fair. I reinvested the profits back in, and once it was financially feasible to increase the ad spend while still managing that cash flow, I increased it gradually to £10 a day, and it was at £10 a day for a while. And then it went to £20, £30, £40, £50 a day. I literally kept gradually increasing it until I was doing £5,000 a day. And if someone had told me at the beginning when I was spending £5 a day and that seemed like a lot of money, that eventually I'd be spending $5,000 a day, I probably would have laughed at you. But that was just really the natural progression of the business by reinvesting those profits. At that point, once I started doing a fair few £100 a day in ad spend, I was taking profit out at that point. But up until that point, I had to make sure I understood the process and everything was working, and reinvesting profits back into the business was the only way to grow when I had such a low budget to start with. And again, constantly manage cash flow through that entire kind of ad spend and gradually increasing of that ad spend process. It was never a case of I wanted to be spending more than what was coming in. I was always making sure that more money were coming in than what I was actually spending. Profitability at the end of the day was key for me, not speed of results. So, if it took me 4 or 5 times as long as it may take somebody else, that was fine. As long as I was profitable and I was growing it gradually, that was important. I think this is the mindset a lot of new people who get into dropshipping have to really think about is, if you have a low budget, you're not going to get quick results. You have to put the work in, you have to extend the period of time that you can advertise for. Because if you have a $100 budget, for example, you don't want to spend $50 a day on your ads, because in 2 days you're out of budget and you don't have anything to work with. You want to extend that budget you've got over the longest period possible. That is the only way to make this work, sort of thing. So yeah, never exceed in terms of cash flow, never spend more than what you have coming in, ultimately. I mean, it seems like common sense, but you'd be surprised about how many times people get that wrong and actually don't do that. So, managing the ad spend, gradually increasing based on profitability, that's kind of what we did to grow it over time. And when it came to growth strategies, there were certain kind of tips and tricks that I suppose I can share with you now, which was we always kept an eye out for winning products in the industry. So even though we may have been selling multiple products at any one time and different ad accounts, different websites, things like that, we were always looking for other winning products that popped up. So if I was on my phone looking through Facebook or Instagram and I advertised a product and I was like, oh wow, this looks interesting, what's this? I'd always keep a list of those so we could always have the potential of pivoting to something if we needed to moving forward. So always keeping an eye out for winning products in the space is incredibly important when you want to kind of scale and grow over time. We never ever try to push a product past its what we call a profitability ceiling, even if that meant a low ad spend. As we've tested hundreds and hundreds of products over the years, and we found that not every product can be scaled. You know, you always hear about people doing, you know, 6-figure months and making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month with their one product stores and things like that. That's great. You know, some products can do that, but not all products can. So we've had many products in the past where they might be doing 20, 30, 40,000 a month kind of thing in sales, not profit, in sales. So that was really as far as we could push them, because whenever we tried to increase the ad spend, the profitability just dipped. We kind of found the kind of perfect kind of level of spend versus profit we could get to, and that was as far as it could go, because the product just wasn't profitable enough to grow it to those 6-figure months. So, you know, understanding that not every product can be scaled is important. So we never pushed past that profitability ceiling as we were growing to again, manage the cash flow and make sure we weren't exceeding the money that was coming in. Then as part of the growth strategy, what we started to do was we were reinvesting some of the profits from the scaling campaigns, the campaigns that were obviously very, very profitable, and they were selling a lot of products at a high level. We were using some of the profits from that to test other products and other ad creatives. So really what we were doing is we were testing for free. So in the beginning, when you first start spending money and you're spending your own money, you're paying for testing. But if you can create a sort of a cash generator in terms of scaling campaigns that pay for testing, you end up testing for free. And then it becomes infinitely easier to grow, because now you're not actually spending any money to find more products. You're just using some of the profit from the profitable campaigns to pay for those new testing campaigns. So that's what we did a lot of. We used the profits from scaling campaigns to basically test for free and find more products for free. That was something we did a lot of, and we also constantly reviewed the data. We were constantly, like every day, looking at the data, looking at where any issues were. Did we have issues with the ads? Did we have issues with the sort of price of the product description, the website, and what was the add to cart rate like? All these different kind of metrics we were looking at to make sure that the funnel itself was actually profitable, so we could scale profitably. And that was something that we did a lot of. And then also we tested a lot of low competition areas. So things like testing different languages. We built stores in different languages. We tested lower tier countries, and like in terms of the sort of spend online. You know, obviously your top tier countries are things like US, Canada, Australia, UK kind of thing. They're like your top 4 countries. But you have lower tier countries, and you can find them on Google as well. So if you jump on Google and search for tier 2, tier 3 countries, they will just give you a list, and you can start to test them. They won't always work, but that was something we did to try and grow, because it's a lot less competitive and a lot cheaper to target low competition countries. So that was definitely something we tried a lot of, and it did work in some cases. So that was something that I probably would recommend to you to try as well once you start getting a profitable product, is expand to kind of untapped markets and then go from there. And then over time, we started to outsource repetitive tasks, like customer service. We started hiring VAs to manage those, because dealing with dozens and dozens of customer emails every single day is very time consuming for you as a kind of the business owner. You shouldn't really have to be doing that. So we started hiring VAs, and then that time we were saving in terms of kind of those repetitive tasks, we reinvested back into growing the business even more. So you can start focusing on the vision and the growth of your business and things like that. Being the business owner, that's what you should be doing. You shouldn't really be doing customer service and things like that. But at the beginning, you have to, ultimately. I did for a very, very long time, because like I said, I wanted to do things as cheap as I possibly could. So yeah, I managed customer service for a very long time myself. But over time, you get to a point where you have to, reinvest back into the business in order for it to grow. So we reinvested, started getting people on board to help with different tasks. So that's something I did. I also started investing in myself in terms of mentoring and coaching and things like that. That really helped with my understanding of running 6-7 figure businesses. Because bear in mind, when I first started this, I was working a 9-to-5 job. I had no clue, no knowledge about how to run a 7-figure business. Not a clue. So as I started to get to that level, and those kind of elements and strategies that you need to know to run that type of level of a business started to come into play, and I didn't know the answers, I had to invest in myself. So I started investing in coaching and mentoring to really understand how to do this properly from people who had already done it. And that was key for me. I had to find somebody that had done what I want to achieve. So that's what we did, and reinvested in sort of knowledge and things like that, and started to grow it even more, sort of thing. So knowledge and investing in yourself to learn how to do things properly from people who have done it is obviously really important. And we also, over time, fine-tuned our data-driven dropshipping strategy. And we started sharing it to other people in terms of the academy and helping them do the same thing. So that entire kind of end-to-end process is what we sort of help people with, within the academy and things like that. So the key points that really for this video is, put in the work yourself at the beginning and fully understand the process. There really is no point in outsourcing things at the beginning, spending money that you don't need to spend. Learn how to do it yourself, because it's going to make everything infinitely easier in the long run, because you're going to understand the process, you're going to understand what you need to do. So put the work in yourself, figure out the process, learn how to do it, so you can take that knowledge forward for years to come. Only start spending money on outsourcing once you are profitable and you're consistently profitable and you're starting to scale. Before then, there's not really much point. You're just going to be, your money's better off basically being put in either learning knowledge yourself and investing in your own kind of mentoring, or it's better put into ad spend and growing the business that way. In case of setting up websites or creating picture or video ads, you're better off doing it yourself, because there's so many tools available that are very point and click. You might as well just do it yourself, kind of thing. It's going to save you a lot of money. Control your ad spend on the budget and whichever platform you choose to manage your costs and things like that. It's really important. Work out how many days you can afford to run your ads for, dependent on your budget. If you have a $500 budget for ads, then you want to do $5 a day, you've got 100 days to make it profitable. That's a long time. You're gonna do all right with that. But work out how long you can run your ads for based on a low budget, and then work off that as a target, and reinvest your profits obviously back into the business at the beginning to grow it further. There's literally no point you withdrawing $300 and paying your water bill or whatever you want. You might as well put it back in the business and turn that $300 into $3,000 or $30,000 or $300,000. You might as well do that rather than just take $300 out and waste it, kind of thing. It's not really much point. So reinvest your profits back in the business to grow even further, and you'll scale a lot quicker when you do that. Make sure you always manage cash flow so you can always provide a service to your customers. I have people messaging me saying, what happens if I can't afford to pay for my customer's order? Well, you're running a business, you're going to have to find a way, because that customer's paid you. So you either refund the customer and you cancel the order and close down your business, or you fulfill that order ultimately. So managing your cash flow is really important, because you are running a business. These are the elements that are involved with running a business. Cash flow is really important. Money in, money out. That's what you need to manage. So make sure you do that. Always keep one eye on the market. Take advantage of any opportunities that arise. If you see something trending and you think, okay, we can jump on this while we're building what we're currently building, then do that as well, because it's always going to help you. And finally, invest in yourself. Learn everything you can, whether it's from free content on YouTube like these videos, whether it's paid courses like Inside the Academy or anyone else's courses out there, kind of thing. Paid mentorship. Obviously, we work with people personally, one-on-one, in terms of personal mentorship and coaching. We can help you with that. But whoever, just make sure you learn how to do it ultimately, because you can make a lot of expensive mistakes by doing things wrong, and having that guidance and sort of knowledge transfer is really going to help you in the long run in terms of money saved and time spent ultimately. So yeah, invest in yourself, learn everything you can. If you are on a low budget, then use the free resources, learn and watch and read as much as you possibly can to understand and start to piece that puzzle together. But ultimately, the only way you can really learn how to do this is through experience. You have to either do it yourself and make those mistakes, or you have to get guidance and coaching to guide you through it. And that's really the only way to do it. So if you are looking for some kind of guidance, some sort of mentoring, then we do have a free call available right now where you can book in, have a chat with my team and I, and to see if we can kind of plan out a strategy that's customized to you, so we can help you sort of achieve your goals quicker and make sure you understand how to run this business the right way based on our experience. So if you're interested in that, then the link will be on the screen right now. You just visit chriswayne.com/discovery. You'll be able to book in your free calls, pick a date and time that suits you, and we'll be able to have a chat with you to see if we can help. But other than that, I hope you found this video useful. There's some tips in there that you can take away and sort of implement in your own business as well. If you did find it useful, please make sure you hit a like, subscribe if you're new, drop a comment down below if you have any questions. I do still answer everything myself. I don't have any VAs to do that. I do answer all them myself. So any questions, drop them down below. I'll be happy to help you there as well. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you in the next one.